I'm sure at times you felt trapped in a cycle of financial stress or feel like you were struggling to get ahead no matter how hard you tried. There are common mistakes that you're making right now that you've been taught to make that are keeping you stuck and destroying your finances. These mistakes are holding you back from true financial freedom. They are keeping you chained to the system and preventing you from achieving the life that you ultimately desire. But I can't blame you for falling victim to these traps because society teaches that these methods are good for us and they'll someday lead to financial freedom. What you've been taught, or better yet, trained, is a false promise. It will not get you to financial freedom on its own, and it will destroy your finances if you don't correct it. Before we get to the main point, there's one thing in particular I want you to take away from everything in this video. One main point, and that is staying in the system and depending on it will get you stuck and it will destroy your financial goals. Here's what I mean by this. Many people have told you, right, when you were in college or things like that, get a good job and do your time. Whether you're waiting for a promotion, you want to make a certain salary, they say, oh, your time will come. What does that mean? That's not a real thing. That's what they teach people, to basically be obedient and just stay in the system and not be ambitious or go after things or have their own goals. We're not meant to just be in jobs and do our time. Our time is meant to be spent with loved ones, achieving our goals, our aspirations, our ambitions, all the talents and gifts that you've been given. We're meant to use to show the world, showcase those things, and produce beautiful things with. There's nothing wrong with having a job, but by only having a job and not having income outside of your job, you have limited income growth. You are capped at whatever your manager or your jobs deems you're worth. If they think you're only worth $70,000, that's all they're gonna pay you. And the best you can do without a source of income outside your job is trying to find another job, but even then it's capped because they're not gonna go from paying you $70,000 to $700,000. You might get $80,000, but that's it, which could often lead to career stagnation. It's easy to get in that job and like, well, I guess it's the best it could get, you know, $70,000, and because you know you have more inside of you, you find yourself on the weekends going to go drink when you're really trying to drink the pain away. You find yourself having a little retail therapy because you're really trying to spin the pain away because you have so much inside of you that you're not doing or getting out because you're depending on this job. And no job is secure. You cannot depend on a job. Now, am I saying there's not good opportunities and good jobs out there? Again, I'm not saying that, but we don't want to depend on it. If you're a grown man or a grown woman, you have a husband or a wife or children, how can you let the livelihood of your family depend on one job? Because what you're essentially saying is, hey, this one job can determine if your children eat tonight or not. If you have one job or one source of income rather, that's all that you're really saying. Oh, well, I love my children, but you know, if my boss is like me, he could starve you guys. Nah, we're not having that, dude. It's a must that we go get another source of income. We have to build a skill. We have to work on that skill and build that craft up so we can ultimately start bringing in money. And if it's your goal, eventually replace that full-time job income and either keep it and just make more money or then go full-time if you want. But again, these are options. Neither one is a must. Nobody has to be a full-time entrepreneur, but you want to make sure you have money coming in outside of your job at all times. There are things set up in place that have automatic contributions, right? Like a 401k. I don't personally believe in 401ks. I don't believe in any long-term assets that you don't have control over. Think about it like this. Anything that you have limited access to your funds, you have limited control over, and that has a contribution limit, who do you know that's wealthy that's really doing that, right? I've been a day trader for years, so I've talked to a lot of people with money, and I've studied a lot of people with money. Warren Buffett, Grant Cardone, Patrick Bet-David, Andy Frisella, any of these guys who are very established, have good businesses and things like that, they're not talking about, oh, I maxed out my Roth IRA and that made me wealthy. I challenge you to name 5 people you know right now who are millionaires, followed the system's plan, and are now living on the beach at a young age. I'll wait. Exactly. You can't. You can't name it because it doesn't really happen. Now, I'm not saying it never happens. Of course, I'm not saying that. But if you look at the stories they tell you, oftentimes the people who are rich, they're talking about how much money they had when they died. They never even got to spend that money. They had $7 million in their 401k, but they never got to live life. What good is money if you can't enjoy it with the people you love or do the things you love? It's only a tool. nothing else. That's it. It's not meant to stack and say it's my net worth for the hopes of one day being free and one day doing things I love to do. That's bullcrap. We're not doing that. Money is a tool that's meant to give you more time, which is the one resource nobody or none of us gets more of. You're giving a certain amount of time, right? It's right here printed on your arm whether you can see it or not. And once that time is up and it hits zero, that's it. Over. Done. Gone. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with investing, because I long-term invest. I day trade, long-term invest, and have multiple streams of income. But you want to be careful about what vehicles you're putting your money in long-term. Putting in a long-term vehicle where you have access to it, if you want to pull your money out, you can pull it out. Nobody tells you, oh, well, you can pull your money out, but you have to wait till you're 65 years old without getting a penalty. Or, oh, you can have your money, but we're going to tax you and give you a 10% penalty in A, B, C, and X, Y, Z. No, I don't want that. If I want my money tomorrow, I want my money in my account. And please do not fall victim to the other extreme side, which people try to do, which is saving all of their money. Just saving money will not create financial freedom by itself. You have to put your money to work. Defense does not win championships. Offense does. Now, some people say, oh no, defense wins championships. Go to any sport. If they play defense and offense, I bet you they have zero at the end of the game. So that whole theory is debunked right there. You have to get the ball in your hands and play, right? You have to score. So we need to put our money to work, not just save it. Don't think by eating rice and beans and rice that you'll someday be in this magical land of freedom and abundance because you saved the extra $100 every 2 weeks off your paycheck and put it in a 401k. The likelihood of that is very slim to none, because on paper that looks really good. Oh, $200 a month over 45 years will be $1.5 million. But again, the thing they don't tell you is that's $1.5 million in today's money. So the same way the average home now costs about $500,000, the average home 30 years ago was like $50,000. So if you keep going across the same trajectory, in another 30 years, the average home price might be that 1.5 or maybe 2.5 million. So what does that really get you? You have to play offense now and get that other stream of income so you can start putting this into real estate or certain investment assets or other things, right? Long-term assets that will pay you and business income that will come in monthly and pay you so you can be free now while you're mobile, while you're young, while you're in your right mind. And not when you're just old and brittle, just to say, oh man, you know, my net worth is 2.3 million, but you can't do anything. Not earning income outside your job is not an option. And this is the most important takeaway in this video. There is nothing wrong with having a job. Number one, it's a part of the process. We all need jobs, but we cannot depend on it. If you let one person determine if you can eat, they can determine if you starve. Do not let that be your only source of income. Nobody's saying this is gonna be easy. There's nothing easy that's really worth it in the long run. So you're gonna have to learn new skills. It's gonna have to be uncomfortable. You're gonna have to spend hours researching and studying. But guess what? You went to college, I'm assuming most people, for 4 years. You can give yourself 4 years. That's the least you can do. Because if you don't, guess what's gonna happen? You know the trajectory. You're gonna be in that job for the next 40 years. Hating every Monday and counting every Friday down. Wait until you get out of it. Oh, thank God it's Friday and it's Sunday. Damn. I'm not trying to go back to work Monday. You already know what the next 40 years is because it's laid out for you. So you might as well fight for something bigger and better. There is no real work-life balance. You cannot wait until retirement to enjoy your life. The only way you will truly get a work-life balance is by having this stream of income coming outside of your job and by creating a business that will ultimately free your time. We need time. We can always get more money, but nobody gets more time. Once it's given, and we all got a date that the good Lord gave us that we don't know what it is. We don't want to have regrets in life. We want to make sure that we're doing and achieving everything that we can, everything that we dreamed of, that we inspired of, that we wake up in the morning and we see in our mind. That thing that you've always wanted to do for the last 10 to 15 years that you've been putting off to yourself every year that you were going to do. It's time now to start doing that. And now you have the keys to not fall victim to the trap. So if you like this type of content, make sure you go to my description, click the link below so you can stay connected with me personally. I'm always dropping good financial content, and we're coming out with great resources and tools soon to help people and guide them on their financial journey to financial freedom. And if you like making money, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you don't like making money, then don't subscribe. It's that simple.